Hi viewers, welcome back to Mom and Jess Women Talk Show, another episode in the self-management series. Today I have a humble man of God by name Brother Jeremiah, that is what he's popularly known as. Very disciplined guy. So he's here to do justice to the topic we title self-discipline. We understand that to manage ourselves, very important that we know how to discipline ourselves, our actions and all of that. So with that being said, yes, Brother Jeremiah, please introduce yourself to our viewers. I'm sure they're excited to meet you.
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Jeremiah Adepechi. I'm an engineer by training and I'm a researcher presently at UKZN, University of KwaZulu-Natal.
Wow, glory to God. Yeah, so this is our gentle Brother Jeremiah. So sit back. Remember to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, please do
and
subscribe.
you will be inspired and blessed. Drop your contributions, take home even questions. We will surely do justice to this. So let's go. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So self-discipline. What is self-discipline? Let's get to know what.
Okay. I just give it just a simple definition. It's just a training of one's mind and body.
Right.
Where it's a totality of one, just the spirit, body, the soul, mind. So in order to be effective, and I can just put it in another term, it's the measure one puts in place so that one is not influenced by outside or other people. Because if one is not well disciplined in one way or the other, you may be disciplined by another person, but when you put those measures into place, so then it becomes a discipline that you yourself actually work towards.
Thank you. I love that. Viewers, I'm sure you got it. So let's try to understand why you think self-discipline is important.
Well, based on personal experience and from readings that I've done from I think one of the mentors about leadership, just Signature. So self-discipline is highly essential if one wants to be effective in life. And I think the Bible also puts it in Proverbs 13:7. It said the soul of the fool actually desires it, but doesn't actually enjoy anything. But it said the diligence will eat the fat. So it means if one is well disciplined, I think discipline and diligence actually comes into place.
They work hand in hand.
So if one is disciplined, he or she will be diligent and will be effective in whatsoever thing he or she does. Whether it's health-wise, career-wise, spiritual-wise, everything. So discipline just makes one much effective than what one would have actually done.
Yeah, thank you. And I would love to add to that because I believe that for every goal we set in our life, viewers, this is for you and this has really worked for me. If you don't work with self-discipline, you are bound to, encounter catastrophe.
That's true.
We have to be disciplined in whatever goal we set, health-wise, career-wise, and all of that, in order to aim at our goal, because the distractions, are
distractions are always there.
It's always there, and the only way we can overcome it is just, as you said, applying discipline in all that we do. Thanks so much for that tip. So having said this, I want to understand, probably the reason why people lack discipline, because I understand that, a lot of people struggle, probably health-wise, to be disciplined. People struggle with their career or their studies to be disciplined and all of that. What do you think could be the likely factors?
Let me just pick a clip from the scripture in Galatians chapter 5. I'm not sure that's 21.
Right.
It said the flesh and the spirit, they war against each other. So it becomes a problem for every man now to make a choice.
Right.
So because the flesh always desires to enjoy pleasure. And we know that when it comes to pleasure, you don't do any much pain, you don't do any much stress. So I think that's part of the issues, because I myself could talk when I was not so disciplined. You can just sit down and you enjoy things. But the truth is that discipline actually requires, it's very painful, like I think Jeremiah said. He said people don't desire pain, but the truth is that discipline is actually painful. So because it requires time, it requires energy,
effort
and it requires effort from one's individual. So people tend to like, okay, yeah, I try to set this goal, but because probably the gratitude, or let me say the reward, was not coming forth as quick as possible. So I myself have actually experienced that when I couldn't get see the reward in probably days, or I like no, I think like this. So sometimes people actually give up because of these things.
Yeah, in fact, that is a very basic reason, which I also can relate with. There are certain goals I might set for myself, and just because I'm not, meeting up with it, it's easy for me to get overwhelmed and want to give up. So, with that being said, what do you think, could be the likely implications, of not being able to, maintain self-discipline and achieving whatever one has set to, attain in life?
Okay, yeah, I think I will just take a clip from my own personal life. There are some times when I couldn't discipline myself effectively, and I notice it just looks as if I was just procrastinating over and over.
Right.
And the goal I actually set, because I couldn't give it the time and the energy that is needed, I was unable to actually meet up with it. So sometimes I look at it, things I could have actually done within weeks, it's taking me months.
Just because.
So now it means I'm taking much time to complete a task which, if I'd actually applied discipline, I would have finished within the
time constraint.
So things like that, and to some extent, I think let me just go to those related to health-wise. When sometimes we don't discipline ourselves in things that we eat, we know what could actually happen. Sometimes I watch some series of movies, I think they call it 60 pounds. And I look at people.
Watch it.
So I know it's because they put in discipline themselves in what they eat and how they eat. So things like that do happen. And when the list goes on and on, when it comes to spiritual wise,
the same thing
it
applies.
becomes redundant.
Wow, interesting. Viewers, I do hope you're getting that. Not applying discipline leads to, us procrastinating, and, there's so much that we lose out of not being disciplined.
Yeah,
because
I think the reward will not be there.
The reward, very important. At the end of the day, every goal we set, there's a reward or prize that comes with it. So if we don't fix our eyes on it, it's difficult to meet up with our goals and that reward which you ought to attain. So having said that, I would just love to know, I'm sure the viewers will also love to know this. Is self-discipline a skill that ought to be attained, or do you think people are naturally born self-discipline?
Okay. I think where self-discipline it's a skill that one has to learn. Even though the Bible puts it in Timothy, it says God has not given us a spirit of fear. It has given us the spirit of love, boldness, and some verse put it as self-control. But in one way or the other, like we hear about Paul when he says he puts his body under control. So it means even though God has given us the innate ability to be able to do it, we must actually put it to action. Just like the case of the people that were given talents, 5 to. So they had the talent already, but they had to put it to work. So self-discipline is something that we have to train ourselves.
We have to work towards it.
To actually do.
Thank you so much. Very easy peasy for us, but I pray the Lord will help us. As much as we speak these things, if we don't put that effort, self-discipline is unattainable. Could you love to share with us your life experience with regards to self-discipline? How has it been beneficial to you generally in life?
Okay, when I think I remembered 2018 or so, when I was unable to meet up with the targets. So I learned from one of my friends, and he told me some life skills that one could actually utilize. So and when I applied those things, within short time, in 2018 or 2019 before COVID, so it was very easy. I could see that, okay, yeah, when I set goals, I'm able to meet up with it.
Wow.
And I also noticed, I think one thing is, if one is successful, I think people tend to respect one.
Absolutely.
So, and I've seen that with my own area of career now.
Work, yeah.
So, when I look at my friends also, I've also seen it. If you actually self-discipline, people know you for who you are, but you're not based on emotions or conditions that are happening, circumstances around you.
Right.
They tend to know, okay, this person is known for this, and they tend to respect one for that. And like some other things, like I said, I was able to achieve goals within the set limits, and I found myself being faithful in some things. I think if one is not disciplined also, one won't be faithful to doing things.
Wow, so, I love that take. One can't be faithful in achieving your goals without self-discipline. So it means that self-discipline has a lot to, it has a lot of role to play. In fact, it plays a significant role in every area of our life. And I would love for us to know if it requires constant training, as life goes on, as we experience life generally. Does it get to a point in time where you think you attained you have attained the right, dose of self-discipline, or does it require constant training? Generally, that's a question I want to ask.
Yes, the truth is that self-discipline requires constant training. And much like what we always say, that knowledge is something that is continuous. So if you want to keep growing, you keep learning. So the same thing also applies to self-discipline. I think some of the coach says that self-discipline is actually needed for growth.
Right.
So it's a consistent thing. I think I've had some share of when I was unable to discipline myself. I think early 2020 when COVID came up, I didn't know what to do. So in some short period of time, I noticed I was not actually meeting my goals again. Because I felt, okay, what could I do? And I became relaxed. So it's something that needs to be consistent.
Your mindset has to be.
Yeah, it needs commitment and it needs actually consistency.
Wow.
For it, so self-discipline is always something that is consistent. And I think from the words of Apostle Paul, he said, I always keep my body on that constant watch. So that when I preach to others, I myself will not be a castaway. So it's something that needs to be consistent. Very
important. Thank you so much. You've said a lot. I'm sure the viewers have gained so much from what you have said so far. I just would love us to end by, probably if you could share with us certain tips people that are learning to, inculcate self-discipline, or people that are suffering from, lack of self-discipline, tips that they could take to get them, on attaining self-discipline in life generally.
Okay, well, I would say there are so many out there, but let me just put it in, I see 3 to 4 tips now. The first thing is making a decision.
Right.
So I think decision is just the first step for growth or for effectiveness. So and I think after decision, like we mentioned earlier, distractions will always come. So the next thing is to keep away from distraction.
Right.
And I think someone said, okay, when it comes to self-discipline, it must be a matter of choice.
Absolutely.
And not circumstances or conditions that one is being faced with. So one must, once you have decided, make sure every distractions that come ways, or we call it temptations, those ones are being removed. And the other thing is that it actually requires commitment.
Absolutely.
So one must be committed to what the goal one has set. And it takes time, it takes energy, and to some extent resources, and even one's strength. So and I think the last thing is just to be consistent in what one does.
Consistency. I always say consistency is key. But without self-discipline, we can't achieve consistency. Yeah. Thank you so much for that take. To wrap it up, if there's any general take home you have for our viewers, just a word for them.
Okay, to all viewers and also to myself, I think, like we talked about self-discipline. So life here on earth is very short.
Right.
So to be effective as a Christian, because I'm a Christian, so and also as a human being that needs to achieve one goal or the other.
Right.
I think self-discipline is actually needed.
Absolutely.
And it's part of what one should actually endeavor
Absolutely.
every day, daily now. So let's make sure one puts into place so that when it comes to race here on earth, will not be found wanting. And when it comes to career-wise, health-wise, relationship,
every goal will be able to attain.
so one becomes effective and honest. And how would I put it? Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Jeremiah. I've been blessed, and I'm sure viewers have been blessed. My take generally from all that he has said, in order to be consistent, you have to be disciplined. You have to set your goals, and you can't achieve your goals without being disciplined. You can't achieve your goals without, being conscious of the things that you need to do. Having in mind, playing into your mind consciously that these are the things you ought to attain, and there's a reward for it. At the end of the day, this race we're all running, as he has pointed out. I'm also a Christian, and I believe that for us to run every race, we need to attain discipline. The temptations are there, trials are there, tribulations are there. If we give in to emotions, if we give in or throw in the towel, it's easy for us to lose sight of the prize. So I would love to end this by saying, keep your eyes on the prize, and I believe that you've been blessed. Remember to subscribe, and see you next episode. God bless you. Bye.